it's George from TeachMeFashion. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make my Mena pattern, which is a great pattern for all occasions and seasons, depending on what fabric you choose to use. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be using a brocade fabric, which is more of a heavyweight fabric, but you can choose any weighted fabric depending on the occasion you are going to. And if you want all the pattern details, check out below description, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to be the first to find out when I upload another tutorial. And that is it. So let's get sewing. First off, assemble your PDF pattern. Get your fabric ready by giving it a wash in your washing machine and an iron. If your fabric is wool, you just need to steam it, and this will help with any shrinkage in your fabric. Before you cut out your pattern pieces, make sure to read the instructions before cutting it out. Now it's time to prepare your binding. Fold the binding in half and iron. Now it's time to start sewing. Pin your binding to all shoulder edges and side seams for both your back and front pattern pieces. Before you start sewing, make sure you check your machine tension, that your thread color and thread is correct, that your sewing needle is sharp, and that you are using a zipper foot. Placing your fabric underneath your zipper foot, make sure to sew right up close to the edge of your binding. If you like, you can use contrast thread for your top stitching. For the next step, pin your back and front pieces together, making sure that the fabric is right sides together. Pin in place, making sure you line up your shoulder and side seams, and then you pin. Sew your seams together using a seam allowance of 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch. Make sure to back tack at the start and at the end, and also remove the pins as you sew. Now it's time to assemble your cuffs. Fold them in half lengthways and iron them. Then fold them in the other direction and pin together. Make sure that right sides are together. Sew a seam allowance of 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch. Make sure to back tack at the start and at the end, making sure that your stitching line is secure. Now it's time for you to iron open all your seam allowance on every single pattern piece. Attach your cuff to your sleeve by placing the cuff inside your sleeve with right ways of fabric together. Line up your seams and pin them in place. Sew your sleeve and cuff together using a 1.5 centimeter or a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Remove the pins as you go. Check to see if your seams are aligned. Now it's time to attach your binding to cover the raw edge of your seam allowance of your cuff and your sleeve. Using your zipper foot, once again, make sure to get right up close to the edge of your binding, making sure to catch the binding on the other side as well. Take your time. Cut all loose threads. Put your jacket inside out, ready for you to iron. Iron your cuffs, pushing the seam allowance inwards towards the body of the jacket. You're nearly finished. The next step is to bind your collar and then your hemline. You then have the option to turn back your hem and hand sew it up or leave down showing the binding. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the tutorial easy to follow. Please join all of my socials and share your creations with me and have fun sewing the Mena pattern.